Hello, everybody. CW here. We're going to react to a BBC article of ex-Mastodon guitarist Brent Hinds. He died in a motorcycle crash in Atlanta on August 22nd of this year, 2025, for those who are watching this in the future. So, we're going to read the article. Mastodon guitarist Hinds dies in motorcycle crash. Brent Hinds, the founding member and former guitarist of heavy metal band Mastodon, has died in a motorcycle crash. The 51-year-old, who left the Grammy-winning band earlier this year, died in a collision in Atlanta, Georgia. Police told U.S. media outlets he died on Wednesday after his Harley-Davidson collided with a BMW SUV whose driver did not give way while making a turn. A local medical examiner's office later confirmed his death. In a statement posted on social media, Mastodon said they were in a state of unfathomable sadness and grief. Quote, "We are heartbroken, shocked, and still trying to process the loss of this creative force with whom we've shared so many triumphs and milestones and the creation of music that has touched the hearts of so many," the band wrote on Instagram. Well, end quote. Queens of the Stone Age paid tribute on Twitter, writing, "Rest in peace, Brent Hinds. With love and respect. See you on the other side, old friend." Alice in Chains' William Duvall posted, "This has knocked the wind out of me. R.I.P. to the great Brent Hinds." Hinds co-founded Mastodon in 2000 alongside bassist Troy Sanders, guitarist Bill Kelleher, and drummer Brand Daylor. He shared lead vocals and songwriting duties with all of those guys, because I think they all did vocals. Their hardcore sound combined prog rock, alternative, and grunge on albums such as Remission, Leviathan, and Emperor of Sand, drawing legions of metal fans and ultimately critical acclaim. Hinds and his bandmates also made a brief appearance as wildlings in the fantasy drama TV series Game of Thrones. I have to watch that episode. They appeared in episode 8 of series 5, entitled Hand Home. Earlier this year, though, Billboard reported that they had mutually decided to part ways. Hinds disputed that account, however, earlier this month, saying he had been kicked out of the band. Mastodon performed at Ozzy Osbourne's farewell gig in July without him. Despite his success in the genre, Alabama-raised Hinds never considered himself to be a heavy metal guitarist. He had previously studied classical guitar and would go on to note his love of country and the heavier end of psychedelic rock music. What is wrong with me? Why can I not read? In a 2009 interview with Rolling Stone, Hinds explained how he learned to play guitar. Quote, "My dad was cool as hell," he said, "but in an asshole move, he made me learn the banjo before he would buy me a guitar. So I was learning all this hillbilly music with my uncle. Then I focused on being an awesome guitar player. My mom would come in and say, 'Are you okay? You haven't been out of your room in 2 days.'" Hinds also played with the surfabilly band Fiend Without a Face and classic rock acts such as the Blood Vessels West End Motel, 4 Hour Fogger, as well as the Last of the Blue-Eyed Devils, and so on and so forth. So, sorry if I'm mouth breathing, I'm sick. So I've been listening to Mastodon since about 2009. I got turned on to them by a friend that was into progressive metal and stuff. I finally got to see Mastodon, I'd say about 15 years later, when they played Texas Trust CU Theater in Grand Prairie. Lamb of God was headlining that show, and Mastodon were second, but the show was sick. Like, for many years, I've been a fan of the album Leviathan. You know, it got me through some tough times. I was listening to it while I was living in Oklahoma, and I don't know, it was like it was one of the albums that was a soundtrack to my life at that time. It's crazy that I caught them like a year before, before Brent Hinds passed on. As far as finding out that the cause of death was a motorcycle crash. That was a bit unnerving. As many of you may or may not know, I'm a motorcycle rider myself. I have 2 motorcycles, and not to get too far off into the weeds with this, but I commute at least 80 miles a week. Actually, no, that's every 2 days. 80 miles every 2 days for my second job. But the point is that I ride a lot. So whenever I find out that someone has been in an accident, especially somebody like notable, famous, or hell, even someone close to me, it really disturbs the shit out of me, because I'm like wondering in the back of my mind, shit, man, I hope that my turn isn't coming. Because the thing is, no matter how careful you are on a motorcycle, people are dumb, man. They may decide that you're the one that they don't look over at whenever they're going to cut across 2 lanes. They need to change how licenses are just handed out, because they are handed out. They need to put some restrictions on there, like maybe IQ restrictions or something, because there's a lot of stupid people out in the world. But that's a conversation for another day. I just want to say R.I.P. to Brent Hinds. He was a damn good guitarist. And even though he has passed on, I feel like if he's still able to think and he's able to look back and reflect on his life, I can imagine that he would be very proud. He wouldn't have any regrets whatsoever as far as following his dream and whatnot. But that's really all I have for today. CW out.